Okay, so this video I want to talk about DNA. We haven't really touched on that yet. DNA matches. Now, I like to go through my DNA matches and I like to label them. My father, I've talked about in other videos, his father and my grandmother never married. It was an affair, and my dad was the only child who was a product of that. Now, because it was an affair and it was back in the 50s, my dad took the name of my grandmother's husband at the time. He was estranged, but that's how the law worked. That's who she was married to. That's the name he got. So there are no legal documents attaching my dad to his biological father. It took 19 years of footwork before any of this really started for me to find my dad's biological family. And even though I found them, I met them, and I knew that it was right, there was a part of me that was hoping for some DNA evidence. And I would go through my DNA matches and I would have people that I didn't know how I was related to them. Well, one of my dad's siblings on his father's side, one of their children, one of my cousins, did their DNA. And so it has opened many doors for me. But I want to show you how DNA helps us, especially when we have branches of our tree that we don't know how they're related. So I'm going to show you. First, I log into Ancestry. This is Ancestry, not Family Search that we're working with. Family Search does not do DNA. So once I get in here, I go to DNA, I click it, and I go to DNA matches. This is going to come up with all of my DNA matches, people I'm related to. And you can see here, do you see these colors? These dots, orange, green, orange, orange, orange. These are custom groups. Here's my custom groups. So I have 227 new matches. This is how many are my mother's. This is how many are my father's. I am lucky enough that both of my parents have taken their DNA. Because my parents have taken their DNA, I'm in charge of them, their DNA results. Therefore, Ancestry kind of matches people up already. Then I have to figure out where they belong. So then I have these subgroups. So orange is Ashton, blue is Garcia, green is Grant, pink is Henry, and dark pink is Yeager. Yeager is the one. Yeager is the side of the family that is my dad's father's side, and I just had no idea. Now I have a bunch of people in my tree. I'm going to scroll down. Like I don't know how this person, I know how he's related. I haven't matched him up. But if I scroll down and there's no dots, I haven't quite figured out how they're related. I might have an idea. I don't know how he's related. Things like that. So I'm going to show you. Well, see, this is really cool. So I don't know. I look at this guy, Stephen Montemayor. Because I've done my family history, I know that I come from the Diego de Montemayor, who is my 13th great-grandfather, who settled Nuevo León, Mexico, the state of Nuevo León. So I actually know just by this surname, I can tell you how he's related to me, which is super cool when you start doing your family tree and you get to know names like Luis, I know is through the Garcia side. So that's a little helpful hint. So I'm going to go back up because I have this new relative that popped up and I did mark him. Let me see if I can find him. Right here. So I know this last name because this is my father's biological father's last name. So I've custom grouped him to Yeager because I know that's who he is. So I'm going to view this match. So right here, it says predicted second to third cousin, but that doesn't mean it has to be second to third cousin. If you click on here, it will go down and tell you, this could be, you know, you look at the percentage and you fit it in. So a first cousin one time removed could be a half first cousin or a second great grandparent, things like that. So it is always good to look in here because even though everybody's listed as cousins, they could be grandparents, nieces, nephews, things like that. So that button is right here when it says predicted relationship. You click this. So when you click on people to see if you click view match, it shows the tree that they have put up, which is super cool. There's actually someone in our branch that we had a person in this family tree. We couldn't connect them. I knew they related. I couldn't figure it out. but we found them through DNA matching, and they had an amazing tree, and we were able to figure out how he was related. He was related 3 generations back, and it was a nephew, and then we found him. Oh, it was amazing. So this, doing your DNA matching can be just so amazing. Okay, so I look at his tree, nothing new. I actually already have this stuff, but this is where things start getting interesting. So I have people on my tree that I don't have labeled, but once you know, I know exactly who this is. And I go right here to shared matches. Okay, now I come down here, and I had this woman in here for so long, and I had no idea how she was related. I had a feeling by looking at her last name that it was through the German side. So now I know, because she and I she shares DNA with both me and my cousin Eric, which means she has to be a Jaeger. So now I have all these people that were unknown on my matches that I now know. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark them all Jaeger, because, and there it goes. Now I know. And you can view matches on all of these people. So I'm going to go down and mark them all Jaeger, because now I know. The more you label, the better your DNA matches are going to be there to help you. I have solved many, many mysteries for myself and for many people in the branch with DNA. I'm going to finish labeling these. Okay, so this right here, unlinked tree. That means no, there's no tree, no family tree, unlinked. They've got theirs private, so you can see who's going to be able to help you or not. This is my dad. His tree is my tree. So I come down here. She has a linked tree. Okay, we're related. I know she's through my dad's side, but I don't know how. So I'm going to view her match. And I'm going to come down here. I don't know any of these people. So this is where you have to get into this tree and start working it down to find out how you're related. I know it's through the German side, but also my tree, my dad's side of the tree is not very good. So this could actually help me do my tree in the end. I'm going to try to open up Ancestry so you can see my tree here, because this is it. This is my dad's dad. This is all I have, because he came over on a boat. And the only reason why I have these 2 people is because they were listed on the ship manifest. Now I've talked to one cousin, but he has no information. I actually know more than he does, and he grew up with the guy. So this is actually a huge tree that I would want to look into. So I'm going to go back and see who else. Here's a Bertha Henricks. I don't know who she is. I'm going to view her match, because it says she had a tree, and she has quite a tree. This is a tree I definitely want to go through, because this is my family, but I don't know how, and I don't know how they're related. And that's okay, because that's how we start to look. And if you hit expand tree, I'll show you where that is again. Right here, expand tree. It's going to show you generations, which will help you put it in perspective. And you can click any of these people, because her tree is open. You can view the tree and check it out. Yeah. DNA is super cool. You can do, let's see. I'm going to go back to my matches. Let's see, DNA matches. So one thing, if people have a tree up, they're going to show a common ancestor. You see right here, this cousin has no tree. So we don't have a common ancestor because she didn't do her tree. So let me go down a little bit to someone less closely related. All right, let's see. Okay, David Janice. I know this tree because that's a French last name, and that comes from my Cajun French family down in Louisiana. But I couldn't tell you right now. So he's a cousin on the Henry, and you can make notations too. So I have down here, he's a cousin on the Henry side, Juanita's Aunt Ella Mae. So this is my grandmother. Her Aunt Ella Mae Henry married Harry Janice, and this is their son. So I can click common ancestor, and it's going to open the tree, and it's going to show right here. Here's Henry, Ella Mae Henry, Harry Janice. So he is this person, and that is how we're related. And also over here, here is all of our common ancestors. These are my second great grandparents. So we share second great grandparents. And that is how you can use other people's trees to figure out how you're related. But sometimes you have to figure out how you're related, and not every time does the tree give you all the information. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's amazing and you open it up and all of a sudden your mind goes, pfft. But there's other times, many more times than not, you have to do the legwork and figure it out. And you know, that's the fun part. I love the mysteries. I love the challenge. And if you're up for it, it really is a great ride, and I highly suggest you go through it. If you have any questions about DNA, I'll be covering more DNA. There's a lot to cover in the DNA section. I just don't want to cover too much in one video. If you have any questions, let me know.